Presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. having a hard time being a candidate now, pushing back against Democrats who tried to remove him from that hearing yesterday on government censorship. That got quite a reaction. Republican Ken Buck, Republican out of California, with us in New York. Nice to see you, sir. Good morning to you. You were not in that room. However, you followed it with Dana and me and everybody else. Here was some of the reaction from Democrats as to what was going down there. Check it out.
If you videotape this hearing, it could be a Saturday Night Live skit, except it's not funny.
I don't think he's being censored. He can say whatever he wants. He doesn't get a right to testify before a committee of Congress.
I can't really see how Jim Jordan has actually advanced what this committee says it was going to do, which look at the federal weaponization of government.
On that last point, you could argue that it was a little hard to get a word in edgewise. What do you make of this?
Well, there's a little irony that they're having a hearing on censorship and they're trying to censor a witness. Obviously, they're censoring the witness because he's a threat to Joe Biden. He's polling somewhere in the 15 to 20% range. That scares Democrats, that someone's going to pull votes away from Joe Biden and challenge him. So it had nothing to do with his testimony. There were plenty of Democrats who are willing to be anti-Semitic on the nightly news. It wasn't any statement he made. It was all about the threat he makes to the party.
Ron DeSantis was on Jesse Watters' primetime last night. He was asked about this. Take a look here.
There's obviously an attempt for big government to collude with big tech to censor dissent. A company cannot do that at the behest of government, even if it's private, because that's a violation of the First Amendment. We definitely got to get that in order, because I think people's rights to converse about important subjects has been drastically reduced in America because of big tech.
The fighting and argumentation between the Democrats and RFK Jr. yesterday sort of overshadowed the big picture about the hearing, which is this question about big tech and censorship. Do you think that there are changes afoot when it comes to how government is going to react and interact with these companies?
Well, for 4 years, I spent a lot of time trying to push antitrust bills that would create competition so that we wouldn't have this kind of censorship. And the censorship is incredible towards conservative viewpoints. The FTC and the Department of Justice are both they both have lawsuits against big tech, as do a number of attorney generals. Hopefully, we can break up these monopolies and make sure that we get competition in the marketplace.
In the meantime, you're pushing a new bill that would prevent the government from buying our data. Is the government buying our data now?
Yeah, the government, the FBI and other agencies are doing that which they can't do legally under the Fourth Amendment. So if you go online and search and you go online and interact with various people, they can buy from a data broker your information. They can't kick your door down without a warrant, but they can do this without a warrant, and it's time that we stop it.
Do you have bipartisan support on that?
We do have bipartisan support, and I think it's going to grow as people understand the severity of the risk. What is the government doing with that information? Well, that's a good question. It certainly isn't doing anything that we are allowing it to do. So whether it gathers information on us, it can use that information to pursue other leads. So we saw this pretty active in the private sector with companies using data, like Facebook or now Meta is one example, or Google. But I don't think a lot of people were aware that the government's doing the same thing. Yeah, the great thing is Facebook can't kick your door down. They can't put handcuffs on you. They can't bring you to trial. The government can. And that's why we have to make sure we don't allow the government to do these things. Important story. I think I said you were from California. My apologies. I did not mean to miscarry. I lost votes. I think you much prefer Colorado, and it's good to see you here. Thank you.
It's great to have a fellow Coloradan here, indeed. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks. Thank you.
Team USA.